Hey everyone, welcome back to IHC Craft Room. Today is live number 8 and it is the finale of the Sweet Summer series. This is the last project we're going to be doing for the summer series. And it is Saturday, August the 1st, 2026. So we just started off the new month. And we're going to wrap up this series today. And then next Saturday, August the 8th, we are going to kick off the fabulous fall series because it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Okay. But that's next week. Right now, let's focus on this. And what we are doing today is we're going to be making a beautiful beach-themed wreath. And we're going to be using this jumbo burlap ribbon that I got from my dollar store, a 14-inch round wreath frame, all of this ribbon, and seashells, basically just seashells everywhere. Now this sign, as you can see, this beautiful beach dot painted sign is something that I made earlier this week during a different live stream. I do dot painting every other Sunday at 2 p.m. So if you're interested in learning how to make this, you can catch the replay in the description of this video below. And Mary from the future will tag it up in the corner over here as well. If you want to dot along and make this, or if you have some kind of summer themed or beach themed sign already, you can also follow all those steps using your sign. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to move all this stuff out of here, and then we are gonna start with what we need to have dry, which is going to be our sign. So we're going to actually prepare our sign first, and then we're going to start making our base wreath, because that's actually what's going to take the bulk of the time for us, is making that base wreath, because we're going to be making it from scratch. Okay, I got to make sure my glue gun is hot enough, and I don't think it is yet because I only just turned it on a few minutes ago. All right, we're going to pivot because since we can't do that yet, and I don't want to start doing my base yet, let's start working on the bow. I don't think I've ever started a tutorial on the bow before, but here we go. We're going to do that. I'm going to actually move you guys off to the side. Thank you. Mercy. And we're going to bring all these ribbons back. So here's the thing. I don't actually know if I'm going to use this bow. Okay. I have it in mind because I almost always like to either have ribbon bundles or a bow on all of my wreaths. I enjoy the look of ribbon and what it adds to a project. However, sometimes the project just doesn't call for ribbon or anything or bows or whatever. But I'm not sure about this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making ourselves a messy bow. And if I don't want to use it after I've made it, then guess what? I won't. It's that simple. So let's talk about the messy bow. We're going to be using, for the main part of the bow, one piece of each single one of these ribbons. And I happen to have 9 of them, ergo 9 pieces of ribbon. Then we're going to cut them to about 7 inches in length because I like to dovetail the ends of my ribbons. I like the way that looks, but we can talk about that a little bit later. And it will take a little bit of time, and it'll also take a little bit of length visually off of the ribbon. So 7 inches is good. And then we're going to cut an extra piece. I don't ever measure it. I think I eyeball it. And that piece is going to wrap right around the center to give us that really pretty knot in the center of our bow. And basically, we're just going to stack these willy-nilly so that you can kind of see them sticking out on either side. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. I'm excited. So let's do it. Let's do it right now. Where's my ruler? Come to me. Come to me, ruler. Oh my goodness, where is my ruler? For real, I've lost it. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to guess. Oh, I found you. It was hiding, but I am festive. All right, so 7 inches is about yay. We're going to start with my navy blue. This is a navy blue linen. The vast majority of these are wire edged, which is my preference for ribbon, but usually ribbons that are this thin do not have wire edges, and I don't think they even come with wired edges at that size, frankly. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I'm not worried about them being perfectly perfect in length. It's not a big deal. You want them to be kind of close in length because you don't want it to look like one is dominating and all the others are cowering behind it or in front of it. But if you're off by a little, ain't nothing but a chicken wing. That's fine. You're fine. So is this about 7 inches? Yeah, it's almost 7.5 inches. So that's fine by me. I'm not going to use you anymore. Thank you. Thanks for showing up late, but at least you came. So that's good. And we're just going to cut one on top of the other. I'm trying to keep, it's always a struggle during a live stream to keep my work area functional and not too messy so that I can continue to move at a reasonable pace. And one of the things I've tried to teach myself is remember where you put things, but also kind of somewhat clean as you go, because if you don't, it gets really, really out of control. Now, this ribbon in particular, the other three that we just looked at, these, the black and white striped, this almost, I don't even know what I would call this. It's not linen. It's even more, I don't even know what to call it. So whatever, it's beautiful. It's white. And this navy blue, all three of these came from Michael's. I buy a lot of my ribbon from Michael's Canada. I also buy a lot of my ribbon from Costco Canada and from the Dollar Tree and Dollarama. So those are my 4 main ribbon places. And if I can't find the ribbon I want in any of those locations, then Amazon is my final resort. And if I can't find what I want there, then I cry for a bit and then I adjust my project so that I don't need that thing. And this happens to be one of those Amazon purchases. This one and this one, it's like a nautical themed duo that I bought for a project last year or 2 years ago. Actually, I made another type of burlap nautical themed wreath, but it was a completely different look than this. It was wrapping the base in the burlap, and we made a big bow and we put some seashells. It was a pretty one, but totally different. So we're going to use the exact same material. Actually, we're going to use all the same materials except for this. I have different seashells now. I think I'm getting them bigger and bigger as I go. Let's go back to you. I'll trim those down a little bit. They seem oversized. So the other thing to consider when you're working with ribbon, whether it's for an actual bow or you're making a bundle for a wreath as well. Oh, this is going to be a pain to open. Why did they make it like this? Why did they make it so hard? You already have my money. Why do you have to torture me after that? Like, it's insulting, you know? Because now I'm going to spend like 10 minutes trying to open this and look like a fool, which is fine by me. I don't care if I look like a fool. I think when I was younger, I used to care. Now I don't really care. Oh, do I look foolish? Oh, well, moving on. Oh, this one's super sheer. You're not even going to be able to see it, but that's okay. I like the idea of all the different textures, all the different colors, the different sizes. This is what makes a messy bow a messy statement bow, because you get all of that happening together. So we'll position them so that we can make sure we see everything, but do not stress about, you know, the different sizes and stuff. It was intentional. I actually went looking through all my ribbon to find different thickness, which I don't have a lot of because my preference is the 2.5 inch wired ribbon is my preference. But I did have a few of these. Actually, this blue one and this gold one I got from my mother-in-law. So that's another source of ribbon. Not quite the same. Oh, I think I'm going to actually cut this here. I'm going to use that part later. All right. Now, I always recommend buying your ribbon at the dollar store whenever possible. You can definitely get some great seasonal pieces and some traditional like colors. I'm sure they have. But I always end up with these bigger rolls because I use so much ribbon, and also because I get really good deals at like Costco's ribbon is phenomenal. It's $10 for like a huge roll. It's totally worth it. The only downside is that they only have it at Christmas time. So even if you find like a generic color so that it doesn't have like, I don't know, Santa or Frosty on it, it's still going to be only a handful of things and only at Christmas time. Okay, well, that's cute, even though you're very see-through, my friend. I'm going to put you over here because we got to keep track of... Oh, get out of here, Scram. Scram, break down. We got it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to dovetail the ends of each of these because it's my personal preference. You don't have to do this. You can totally cut at an angle like this if you want, or like that, or you can keep it straight edged as we have it now. Hi, Tony. Welcome. We are making a beach-themed wreath today. But what I want to do is actually dovetail it because it's my preference. And what that means is we're going to fold that ribbon end to end, just like that. And then we're going to cut it at an angle. And the deeper you cut your angle, right, the deeper or the least shallow, whatever, is how deep the V is going to be. And I like a nice deep V. So I give it a really deep angle when I cut it. I also want to point out that I think all of these ribbons, except for this nautical one and possibly this blue striped one. Yeah. All of these are good on both sides. So they both look good any side the ribbon is on. But you need to pay attention to that, especially if there's something that is patterned. A lot of times they will have a good side and a bad side. And if that's the case, you need to keep track of where your good side is at all times so that you can always make sure that it is facing outward, forward, so that it can be seen at the front of whatever it is, a bow, a bundle, whatever. So we got to just keep track of it. So we are going to do that once we get to those. But first, we're just going to dovetail everything. I'm even going to dovetail those little guys. So I think you're about the same size, right? Yeah. This ribbon, this black and white striped ribbon, I love it, but it has no wire. And it's something that I generally don't use a lot of because of that. The wire is super useful when you're trying to style something, especially if you're making a bow. It makes it so much easier to get a really lovely poof on your loops when you have that wire to hold them in place. But what are you going to do? Life's hard. How did this end up so wrong? Look at that. Okay, we're going to do this again. I don't know what happened to you. That was really, really weird. So one more time. There we go. Strange, but it is okay. Here we go. So these two have a good side and a bad side. So what's the difference? Good side has vibrant colors. So this is the good side. Bad side, not so much. So we're going to keep track of them. Right now, all we're going to do is continue dovetailing. But when we stack our ribbons to make the bow, then we shall keep track of where the good side is and make sure it's facing outward so that it is visible in all its glory. And we need to decide which ribbon we want to make as our central part of the bow. I haven't picked one yet. It needs to be either one of these ones or one of these ones. The skinny one won't do. Actually, it could. We'll see. We shall decide. Okay, everybody. Oh, no. I got to do you guys too. You're very little, but I'll get you. I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too. Oh, man. The things we learn about childhood favorites. Things I've learned about The Wizard of Oz since I became an adult, I don't want to even think about. Oh, my God. It really does. It can really ruin those beautiful memories from childhood when you know about all the terrible things that were going on behind the scenes. I also worry about that when it comes to like watching childhood favorites now. I feel like they'd be so tone deaf and I'd have such a hard time watching them knowing how cringy it would be. Anyway, this is what happens when you get old, guys. You care about stuff like this. It's nonsense. All right, here we go. So let's make our bundles. I'm going to be using a ribbon. not a ribbon. I'm going to use a pipe cleaner to help bundle these. And then we are going to decide which ribbon is going to be on top. So we've got 3 sizes, and I want to stack them in order of the biggest in the back and going forward. So I would say nautically, this is probably the biggest impact. So realistically, it would be nice maybe that to be the knot. But I don't know that you'll actually see the anchor. It might just get lost around the knot. So probably not the right one. Either this guy, that's probably going to be the easiest one to work with, the black and white striped one. Or maybe this little blue one. I don't know. Okay, let's set them up. I think I'm going to do, I want this pretty close to the front. We'll do navy blue, blue and whatever stripes. Look at the difference in size. You see, I definitely, oh, it's not as big as I thought. I thought it was way larger, but it's not actually. It's an optic illusion, I guess. Yeah, not by much. All right, cool. All right, all we're going to do is crisscross our pieces like that. And we're going to keep crisscrossing. Yeah, I think I want this here. And then we're going to do blue. That really thin blue. Do I really want this black and white striped on top? That's taking a really prominent spot. Okay. What do we think about the way we can see? You can't see the anchors at all. Because of, but we're going to move things around a little bit. So maybe I will try putting an anchor. We'll start with the anchor ribbon first because you're not really seeing a lot of it. It's not, it'll peek through a bit, but not a ton. That's the thing about a messy bow. When you make this kind of bow where you use a bazillion different types of ribbon, that's the whole point. No one ribbon is supposed to dominate. It's supposed to be a cacophony of different ones, like all kind of chilling together, being like a chill bow. So I'm just going to scrunch in the center here. I'm going to gather it like that. Okay. And then we're going to bend our pipe cleaner. Boop, boop. I'm going to try to see if I can get it right in the center. Does that look like it's in the center to you? I think so. And I'm going to bend this forward so it's almost like a flower. You see that? That's another great way to tell if you're in the center, if they're even with each other, and they are. And I'm going to go ahead and twist this pipe cleaner a couple of good times. Okay, we're going to open this up. Oh yeah, that is so cute. Look at that. So now we can stretch and move all of our ribbons around. Pull them out so we can see all of the different patterns and colors and textures. That's the whole point of this. Look at this little pretty sheer one. All right. So now we got to decide which one do we want to use to cover the pipe cleaner? What color? What should be on top? I'm going to start with the nautical one. So this guy. I'm going to see if we can get the actual, this is probably too much, but it's okay. We're going to fold it in. I'll put a line of glue there in a minute, but first I just want to see what it looks like. I'm going to fold that in. Now you can see I already cut the anchor, so you can't even see the anchor. I wish there was an anchor right in the center, but there's not. Maybe I can, hold on, just a little bit on this side. And then I'm going to double roll you. Well, no, I have to actually overlap it, or else how am I going to glue it? So like that. This is more trouble than it's worth, I bet. Okay. So I think I have my anchor showing. Actually, it's not more trouble than it's worth. It's actually kind of cute. We'll see if we like it when we've wrapped it. So way too much cut here. I could have got away with like much, much less. But you can't even tell that that's what that is. It kind of almost looks like a crucifix. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. So we're gonna say scram. Thanks though. Appreciate you. Let's do the black and white stripe center and see what that looks like. If not, then I'll do the maybe I should do the blues. Actually, that makes more sense. Black and white is not supposed to be dominating this, but blues can. So we had said we had cut too much. So maybe around here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use a bit of glue. Are you toasty now? Yeah. Party. So because it is so toasty, let me bust out my finger protectors. If you don't have finger protectors and you stumble across them at your Dollar Tree, buy several packs and give them to your friends for Christmas and they will love you forever. No, they'll probably think you're weird, so don't do that. But highly recommend you use them because they are a lifesaver when you do this kind of stuff. I've burned myself plenty, and all I can say is 0 stars, do not recommend. Not my idea of a good time. So I'm just putting some glue down the center. I'm going to fold this over onto it. Don't stick to my table. I knew you were going to do that, bro. Not cool. You over here. I need another one. Where's your friend? Okay. Very good. And we're going to do the same. Let's see what it looks like. So we're going to get a little bit of blue and a little bit of navy. That's good. I think the color is going to be good. And we'll do the same thing right here. So I'm going to layer the glue right on top of the last bit of glue. And we're going to flip you like so. Okay, good. Nice. So now that we got that done, let's get you guys out of here. They're very useful and very protective, but they're also very awkward to work with. So, you know, pick your poison. So do we want it this way or do we want it this way? I think I want it this way. I'm going to just wrap this around the center. Now, are we sure we don't want to move anything? Is everybody happy with where you're positioned? I think so. So I'm just going to wrap this piece around the center again. I'm going to flip it over and we are going to glue it to the back. Now, if you were planning to secure your bow to your wreath using the pipe cleaners, there are 2 things we need to talk about that we did not talk about. And this is very important. So we're going to pause here to discuss it. If you have long pipe cleaners, I used short pipe cleaners. I used a pipe cleaner that was this long, okay, for this blue one, because I knew I was not attaching my bow to my wreath using the pipe cleaner. I knew I was going to glue it on. However, if I was going to attach my bow to my wreath using the pipe cleaner, I would have used this size pipe cleaner so that we had long pieces hanging out of this. Very important because then you can use that to literally attach it to your base. But if, like me, you're planning to glue it on, a little one will do, a zip tie will do, whatever you need. A piece of floral wire will work as well if you wanted to avoid that entirely. And then this little piece of ribbon on top, just, you know, it makes that final knot that just looks so cute on a bow. Okay. Just going to hold that in place for a second. Hot glue is very, very hot. Always be careful. I bring it up all the time because I've burned myself so many times and it is so not fun. But also, it's pretty quick to adhere. Maybe not permanently, but short term, it does attach itself pretty quickly. unless it's on a curve or a slope or something like that, in which case you might have to wait a little longer for it to like latch on. But see, it's already holding on pretty well considering that I just finished doing it. A couple minutes from now, you won't be able to take it apart. It's going to be so nice. So we're going to give that a couple seconds to latch. And are you ready to see our messy, messy bow? So cute. Love it. This is a great way to use a bunch of different, but, you know, like, similar, same color, same family, same theme. You can use a whole bunch. If you have scraps even, that would be super useful for this kind of a bow. And all you're doing is cutting them up, roughly the same size, spreading them out. And then that piece in the center just ties it all together. Beauty. I love it. They came out great. I'm very thrilled. Now, again, I'm not sure if we're going to actually use this bow. We may not. But I wanted to make it because I like these bows. I don't use them enough. And this is a great project for it. So I'm going to put it off to the side. Now that we have our glue gun ready to go, we're going to get our sign completed so that we can move on to making our base. And then we can put everything together. So what we're going to need for this sign is 4 of the long pipe cleaners. And we're going to put basically a cross shape of little bits of glue, and then we're going to attach pipe cleaners to each of them. So before we go anywhere else, where are my toothpicks? Here you are. Hi. Hi, friends. We need the toothpicks. They will be very, very useful. Stay there. Okay. So what we're going to do is flip this over. I want to try to always keep track of where the front of my sign and the top of my sign is. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a straight up flip, and we're good to go. So we're going to put some glue in all 4. I'm going to start up here, close to the edge, but not quite touching it. And then we're going to find the center of the pipe cleaner, which is about there, and lay it into the glue. I guess I don't need to remind you since we just discussed this, but hot glue. Alert, alert, hot glue. So as you can see, I am using a toothpick to push my pipe cleaner into the puddle of hot glue that I just placed here. I'm going to let this grab a little bit. And then when we're done, I'm going to put another bit of hot glue over top once it's solidified a little bit to really encase the pipe cleaner in glue. Is this strictly necessary? It's not, no. But I have done it from, I don't know, the beginning of me doing wreaths, and I've never had a sign fall apart on me. So I figure if it's going well, let's not mess with it. So I'm going to continue to do that, but you do you. If you don't want to put a little bit more on top, well, c'est la vie. Let me know how it goes for you. But I don't mind the extra step. It doesn't take long because this is going to dry up pretty quickly. Why am I using a toothpick instead of the finger protectors that I was so thrilled about talking about a few seconds ago? I bet you're wondering. Because the finger protectors are kind of thick and fat. And if I try to push onto it, I'm going to get glue that's on either side of this. And it's going to get stuck to my finger protectors and it's going to make me mad. And it's highly recommended to avoid ticking off a perimenopausal woman. Okay? So that also applies to myself. I try not to tick myself off. Okay, so we also want this one to be horizontal because of the way it's going to wrap around the wreath. So you always got to think of the way you're positioning your pipe cleaners so that they work for you and not against you, which is why we didn't put these this way. We put them this way so that when we attach it to the wreath, it's going to be perfectly aligned, which is why we are going to make this section horizontal rather than vertical. Does it matter if it's perfectly positioned in terms of are these at a fantastic angle? It's not the end of the world. It's just that we want to make sure we have one on each side of the wreath sign which in this case is a 10-inch round piece of wood. And we just want to make sure we have something to adhere it on all 4 sides. That's all. So if it's a little off, it's fine. You're just going to have to adjust a bit when you're placing your sign on your wreath. That's all. All right, we got one more. So I do all of my crafting and live streams from my basement. Very fancy. And it's hella cold down here all year round. So you'll notice that things start to cure pretty quickly over here. So that's already solidifying pretty much completely. So I'm going to go ahead and place my glue on top very shortly, but not just yet. We're going to let these guys solidify just a bit. And then I'm going to bring this back and we'll put a little bit of glue on top of each of them. That guy's almost ready, but that's okay. We'll do it after. So, excuse me. Gracias. All right. So we've got our messy bow done. We've got our sign drying and chilling. So now we're going to go ahead and focus on our base, because this is the part that is going to take the most time and be the most impactful, because it's literally how we're going to make our wreath. Now, 2 things. First of all, I have never worked with this burlap before. This is a new burlap that Dollarama has started to sell in the last few months. It's bigger by quite a bit. Usually the jute that I use, I think, is 4.5 inches. So it's probably about this much more this size. It's a slightly different color. The texture seems really nice, so I'm happy about that. It looks like it's good. It's nice and big. It's 10 yards, so it's quite a lot. But this was, I want to say this roll was $4. It might have been $5. You can see that they conveniently didn't put a price on here just so that you don't cry about it after. But it was easily $4 or $5. So I actually don't know how much of this we're going to need for this project. So I have a few rolls waiting in the wings just in case. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing is I am going to try to do a base today that I've never done before. Not with burlap. Actually, this particular type of base I've never done, period. So if we can't do it, because usually I at least try to practice a technique when it comes to wreath making ahead of time a little bit. I try to practice it. But I did not do that this time. I thought it would be fun for us to try it together. And if I don't succeed and it comes out crappy or it's not going well, I will stop and I will do the ruffle method instead, because I know how to do the ruffle method. It will give me a gorgeous full wreath and it won't stress me out. And then I'll learn how to do the other method and teach you another time. But we're going to try. And the method is called I call it the bubble method. I'm not sure what they call it online. I've seen a few creators do this. What we're going to do is we're going to take a pipe cleaner. I have these little half pipe cleaners waiting. And I'm going to take my jute and I'm going to kind of like just scrunch it up on the end over here about 1 inch away from the edge, just like that. And actually underneath is where I'm going to attach this one. This is the first time I've ever attached underneath. So I'm going to slide my pipe cleaner between rows 3 and 2. So let's talk about that really quickly, because this is always important when you're looking at the base of a wreath. This base wreath is 14 inches in diameter and it has 6 different sections. Each of these sections can hold only so much of material, and we will always acknowledge the rings as 1, 2, 3, 4, with 4 being the outer ring and 1 being the inner ring. It's the easiest way to remember from my perspective, so that's how we're going to do it. So I am sliding this pipe cleaner underneath rows 2 and 3 and right in between of a crossbar. You almost always want to start with a crossbar because it's convenient, it's useful. It helps attach it so that it won't slide around each section. Now, normally I would attach it like this on top, but since that's not what I'm doing this time, I'm going to actually go, why don't I just flip this over? It'd be easier. I'm struggling now. Yeah, because I don't normally do it this way. So you should go this way and you should go this way. So now I have my pipe cleaners sticking up for me. I'm going to put my burlap in there and we're going to tie it down. And that's how we're going to start securing this burlap to our wreath base. A couple good twists will do you well. We may clean this up later and cut it down. We'll see. But this is how we're going to begin. Oh, now I'm doing it upside down though. Hold on. I want to be bubbling this way, so I need to change this. Okay. So these are all things I'm going to make note of for myself so that the next time I do this, I'll have like a system. This is you watching me learn how to do this, which is painful for both of us probably. Okay, so now we are in position. We have our burlap attached to the base of the wreath, having used the second and third ring of our wreath base. And what we're going to do is start tucking the burlap in between the wreath rings, just like that. But you're doing it more so from the top, if I'm not mistaken. Let me think. Because it makes more sense that you kind of turn it this way. So how do you attach it then? I guess the first one's just a little weird. First one will be a bit weird. It'll be fine. So we're pushing the burlap through the wreath rings. I'm pulling. You see how I'm getting my fingers all the way through the ring, and I'm getting that much through. This bottom one is a bit weird because we're trying to start at an angle over here. Let me see if I pull this. Okay, that'll do. It's going to scrunch up anyway. You probably won't even see it. So my hand's coming between the two rings there, and it's going to do the same in between rings 1 and 2. So you can see we're pulling material in between each of these rings of our wreath. So we have them roughly the same size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the material in the back. And then we're scrunch this up. Okay, hold on. Maybe we don't scrunch. Let's start back. Let's do this again. Let's have a little patience. We're going to do this again. Okay. Let's start by going. Let's start over here. It might be easier. I want to turn my jute so that it's up and down instead of side to side. And we're going to go through loop or ring 3 and 4. Okay, then we're going to go through rings 2 and 3. And pull that up. And then through 1 and 2. Maybe I should have pulled more. Make it a bit longer. Okay, and then we take them and we scrunch them this way. There, now I did it. And that's what you're going to get. This is like the bubble method for burlap. So now on the back of this, we twist it. We get back up to this top and we're going to go and do this again. So I'm going to run my burlap through the ring. Same with this one. And why do we twist it in the back? It's so that it doesn't come apart. I'm finding this a lot more awkward than I thought it would be. Maybe I need to move that. So let's think. Put this up. Ultimately, what always happens when you're trying a new form of wreath base is it takes a few minutes, a few times for it to really click. And then you get like into a rhythm and you're like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. And we have not achieved that part yet. We are still in the what? Hold on, what do I have to do kind of phase right now. So squeeze them up. They're all pretty even. And I'm going to hold it and I'm going to scrunch to the side. Yeah, that does look really good though, doesn't it? Okay, it's worth the aggravation. I'll figure out how to get this into a rhythm. But that's pretty. And it really is a very different look than the ruffle method, which I've done before. And I really like the ruffle method, particularly for burlap, because it gives it a lot of volume, which is really lovely. Okay, so we're going to twist again at the back. So one twist. And then I'm going to start at the bottom again. Okay, you're being a little annoying, bro. Okay, so I'm going to shove you through rings 3 and 4. Okay, then through rings 2 and 3. Oh, it's better with my hand inside it. Why didn't I do that? Okay. Okay. And then through 1 and 2. It's definitely easier when you tuck your fingers in from behind like that and pull it up. You definitely get an easier. Yeah, that's pretty. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so one more twist. Okay, I'm going to grab it with my hand. We're going to go up through the rings. You know, that's what I'm finding. You know, maybe I should start top to bottom instead of bottom to top. Let's try that. Because after you twist, it's kind of hard to get back down to the bottom. So let's try going from the top instead. How am I going to do that? Well, it's the same problem though. Now I'm going to have to go this way. Start from the bottom again. Okay, bottom. Tuck through with my fingers. I get it to a nice spot. And then seam between rows 2 and 3. And same between rows 1 and 2. Okay. And now we're going to give it one big scrunch. That really is pretty though, isn't it? Yeah, that's really pretty. I've never done this kind of style before, but it's really pretty. It gives you a completely different type of ruffle. It's very contained, whereas the other ruffle method, you're literally making a taco around each ring so that the ends of your ribbon stick up, of your jute are at the upper part. It's not tucked in this way. So it's a really different vibe. I really like it. It's a lot of volume too, which is great. So another twist on the back. Okay. I think this might be one of our last ones in this section. There's a lot of volume behind in my hand here. Okay, so we're going to take material and we're going to tuck between rows 3 and 4. Bring that up. Okay, then we're going to go between rows 2 and 3 and do the same thing. Tuck that material through. Yeah, this is getting a little tight, so it's a bit more of a challenge. And I think I'm still doing it a bit wrong. I mean, it's working, but I feel like I could do this more smoothly and I'm missing something. There's something in the technique that I don't have quite right yet. So we'll see. Okay. Doesn't that look pretty? Oh, I really like that. Can I fit one more in here, do you think? I don't think so. We're cutting it close. Yeah, but I kind of want to because I want to scrunch this a bit more. You're a little longer than you should be, pal. Let's tuck you in a little. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to try to tuck a little bit more in here because I think it'll look really good. I prefer it this way versus this way, but it's totally a personal preference. I might not be able to do it, frankly. My hands are already hurting, so we'll see. Okay, so again, we're going to twist at the back. Maybe I'm twisting in the wrong direction. Maybe I'm going to twist this way, like towards me. And then we're going to tuck through. Now, you always got to be careful when you're at these crossbars because they almost always stick out. They're never level. They, you know, craftsmanship is not what it used to be, bros. It's just not. So be careful because you can totally get yourself stuck on it or it'll get stuck on your burlap. But mostly the issue is that it's going to scratch you, and it does do that to me quite a lot, and I'm not a fan. So a warning to you, as I remind myself, be careful. Okay, we're going to grab it again and tuck. I'm going to pull this over and tuck in between the two rings. Pull you up a bit. That's good. And the same through ring 1 and 2. We're going to grab that and pull it through like that. That's great. Look at that. That came out great. I'm very happy with that. And for a first attempt, it's not too bad. Like, yeah, I'm a little clunky about it, but overall, it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to have a quick sip of water and we're going to hit up section number 2. Okay. Now, why do you twist in the back? I'm not 100% sure. My understanding was you twist in the back so that it doesn't unravel. I'm going to actually try to do one without twisting in the back and see what happens. But every time I've seen this process online, everyone twists it in the back. However, I'm an operations person, so I always want to understand why, more so than that's the way we do it. That's not a good enough reason for me. So I'm going to try. I'm going to bring my jute down again. Okay, and we're going to tuck through. I'm grabbing a little bit of extra real estate. I try to leave a little bit of leeway underneath so that when I tuck it with my hand, I can pull that forward a bit like that. Okay, so we've got our bottom loop. Now this is the part I don't like. You see how this overlaps a bit? Because I'm pulling the burlap down from the top and then making a loop. So I tried doing it the other way and it got confusing. Let's try it again though. Let's try doing it up here now. Instead. Okay. And now this one, same. Because this makes more sense if I can. Okay. And now same under here. We're going to go between 3 and 4. Push up and pull that jute through. Okay, so we've got our 3 loops here. You need a little more you. Okay. So we've got our 3 loops there. And now I'm going to scrunch it like this. Okay, that worked well. So now we're at the bottom again. If I try to tuck beside myself, it won't work. That's what the twist is about. So now we twist. We twist right here. And now can I do it from the bottom up because they're side by side? Let's see. You got to stay there. So I twisted you, right? Yeah. So you come through between 3 and 4. Okay. You come through between 2 and 3. Okay, and then you come through between 1 and 2. So we've got our 3 loops. Spread you out a bit. Okay, and now we give you a scrunch. Man, that does look pretty. I really like this. I'm gonna endeavor to get faster at it. But I think this switch that I just did makes sense. So now I'm going to twist at the top, and I'm going to start at the top again. Now that we've twisted it over. So we're going to push over there. Okay, we're starting at the top. So I'm going to take and tuck between rows 1 and 2. Okay. Then we're going to go between rows 2 and 3. Good. And then between rows 3 and 4. Okay. And then we're going to scrunch. Okay, I think I have room for one more. So I'm going to twist you. And we're going to go from the bottom up again. I mean, it definitely gives you a really full base, which is lovely. It's always good to get a lot of volume out of burlap because it's one of those materials that doesn't naturally give volume. When you see burlap, you usually think of like, bales of hay and farmhouse kind of chic. Oh, something went crazy here. Okay, let's see what's happened. What did I do wrong? I pulled. Okay, so that was loop 3. So this is where I twisted in the back, remember? Okay, so here's my twist. Why did you end up pulling the loop? That's interesting. Probably because I wasn't holding it with my hand. And so it kind of like came apart. We'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck. Now that I have it twisted underneath, I'm going to tuck it under in between 3 and 4. Like that. Okay. Then we're going to go between 2 and 3. Yeah, this is a really wide. This would probably have been even easier to do with that older style of burlap that I had before that Dollarama used to sell. That was 4.5 inches instead of this 6. That 2.5 inches is a lot of extra noise. Okay. So I could technically fit another one in here, but I'm not gonna. I like this. So let's have a quick look at what we got going on. That's great. That's lots of volume. We've got this really beautiful ruffle happening. I was originally going to call this like a burlap bubble wreath, and I think I'm probably going to stick with that name because I feel like it's appropriate. Okay, so we are now at a crossbar over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just twist, and we're going to start at the bottom again. Oh, no, we're at the top here. So we're going to start at the top and make our way down and see if we can get faster at this. So I'm going to twist it. And then we are going to tuck in between rows 1 and 2 and push it through with my fingers and pull it as well. I wonder if you're supposed to show the edges. Like, I don't mind that the edges are showing in certain spots, but I guess if you didn't want to, you could tuck it under better. But to me, I like the edge of the burlap, especially because these are really soldered, not soldered. Soldered is metal. They're seamed really well. They don't have a lot of flyaways on the edges. So I don't have any issue showing that, I think. So we've got loop number 1 between rows 1 and 2. Now we're going to do loop number 2 between rows 2 and 3. That's great. And now loop number 3 between rows 3 and 4. Pull them up together and give them a scrunch. Beauty. Now I'm going to twist. And we started at the bottom here, or we ended at the bottom, so we're going to start at the bottom again. Okay, so I'm going to go between rows 3 and 4. I'm going to open this up a little bit. Oh, I did it again. You know, I don't understand this twist part yet. I think that's my biggest challenge so far. I don't fully understand. Maybe I need to do a double twist. I just need to keep it in place. Oh boy. Take it back here. I'm so focused on the frame that I'm not watching my material, and that's always a mistake because you end up in this situation. Okay, so we got a double twist down there. I think I just got to remember to keep my finger in place to hold it there so it doesn't follow its way through the 2 rings. So right now I'm holding that twist in place with my finger. Let's see if that does it. So I'm going to tuck through rows 3 and 4 with my fingers. And pull that through. So we've got loop number 1. Okay, and then we're going to do the same between rows 2 and 3. So we've got loop number 2. Now I can let go of that. It seems to be staying in place. And lastly, we've got loop number 3 coming through rows 1 and 2. And they're basically the same. And we give them a scrunch. I mean, it's working. Even if I don't fully have a system yet, it is working. Okay, so we stopped at the top this time. So I'm going to twist up there. I'll give it a really good twist. And now I'm going to hold on to that twist and kind of tuck it away. And we're going to start from the top. And we're going to go through. I'm still holding that knot under here with my thumb, if you can see. So I'm going to go through rows 1 and 2. Okay. Then we're going to go through 2 and 3. Wonderful. And then we're going to go through 3 and 4. And they're basically the same height. And we're going to give them a squish. Squashy winters a quarter now. Oh man, doesn't that look so great? Oh, I love it. I'm so glad I tried this because, you know, I like to try new things. And usually because I like to teach stuff on here, I like to know what I'm doing before I start a live stream with a new project. But I thought it might be fun for us to figure it out together tonight. Or this afternoon, rather. Okay, so I'm twisting the back again. We ended at the bottom last time. Okay, I'm going to hold on to my twist so I don't lose it. And we're going to start. This is going to be our last bubble in this section. We're going to start at the bottom. I'm going to tuck between ring 3 and 4. There you are. It's gone crooked on me. It's going a bit crooked on me. There, I got you back. Okay, then we're going to go between rows 2 and 3. Now that we have those, I think that'll stay in place a little bit better. And last, we're going to go through rows 1 and 2. Tuck that through. Okay. And there we go. I am not going to put any more in this section. I'm going to let this stay. Give it 2 twists there. I made these a bit big, actually. I feel like I'm making them bigger. I am, aren't I? That's interesting. Okay, so I've lost track of the size of my loops, so that's something to be aware of. I'm going to actually stick to this bigger look because I kind of like it. I feel like it works for me. Maybe we can expand those a little bit. We'll see. So we've already twisted. We're starting at the top. We're on section number 4. So we're halfway done our wreath now. We've got 3 sections left. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to get to about here and then have to start a second row, which is pretty normal actually for any burlap wreath base. So again, where do we end at the top? So we're going to start at the top. So what I meant by I've gotten them bigger is that I've been pulling more material through. So these loops are much bigger and wider. These ones were shorter over here when I started. So that's definitely something I'm going to make note of for the next time I do this type of style of wreath, to be aware that you can accidentally start making your loops bigger and not realize it. If I'd noticed it sooner, I would have started to correct it as it was happening, and so that it wouldn't be very obvious. But now it's too late. So I'm going to stick with that bigger loop look. And we'll see what we can do about those ones on the other side that aren't quite as full. Either we'll try to loosen them up a bit and see if we can get them to look fuller, or we'll just accept the way they are. Or if I end up using the bow, maybe I'll put the bow in that section. Okay, so we've got our 3 loops up here. They're about equal in size. I'm going to go ahead and scrunch them over to the edge. I'm going to give this a twist. And again, we are starting at the bottom. I've got my knot in place. I'm holding it so it doesn't come back through. And we're going to tuck this through number 2 and no, so this is 3 and 4. This is 2 and 3. Yeah, this is really wide. It would definitely have been easier if it was like a 4.5 inch. And then we're going to tuck between rows 1 and 2. There we go. And we'll give that a scrunch. I see you. You are a little rebellious, you. I'm going to tuck you in a bit more. Okay. So we're going to give it a twist. I think we are on probably the last set. If I can even get all 3 bubbles out of this one, we'll see. So where did we end? At the top? We ended at the top. So we're starting at the top. I'm going to hold on to that twist. And we're going to tuck through. Okay. And then between 2 and 3. And then between 3 and 4. And yeah, we are going to stop right here with this one and start up a new piece of burlap. This little piece of the crossbar that is sticking out keeps getting caught on the burlap, and it's very frustrating. She said very calmly when she wants to swear. Okay. Yeah, I'd say you're done here. So I'm going to actually, I'm not really sure how you're supposed to end this off, but I'm going to tie it down using a pipe cleaner because that's what I have that I'm using today. And give it a quick twist so I can see. But really all I'm going to do is slide my pipe cleaner in between two of these rings. Now, if we had made it all the way to the end of the section, I also would have slid the pipe cleaner across a crossbar. But since I have room to fill in more in this section, I'm not going to attach this to the crossbar. I'm just going to make sure that the end is tied down using a twist tie, or you can use floor wire. I always like using these. They call them Chanel stems now, but I'm a child of the 80s. We call these pipe cleaners. So now that's very well secured, but you see I have enough room in this section. So I'm going to go and start my next roll of burlap right here. So let's grab that. Where you at, friend? Here you are. And another little sip of water. Oh, water. Water's awesome. What does it say? Spot clean or dry clean only. Lie flat to dry or blot. Yeah, okay. I'm not planning on doing any of that stuff. This is a wreath, bro. But I mean, you can use burlap for so many things, right? I've used it for a table runner before, which was really, really great. It looked really nice and rustic. However, it also smells like burlap. So, you know, keep it in mind. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did when we started off with this, which is I'm going to scrunch the end about an inch from the edge, just like right around here, so that I have it like that. And now, same thing, we're not going to attach to the crossbar because we want to be able to move. So I'm going to actually tie it to probably like number 3, I think, with yet another small pipe cleaner. And we want to tie it underneath. Yeah, this is how I messed it up the first time. So let's see if I can do it smarter this time. So what do I want? I want to tuck this under. You're going to go under that. And then you're going to come back over here. Well, I didn't have to tie it around 2, actually. Come back. You come through here. So now I've got my pipe cleaner threaded around row 3. And I've got the end of my jute in there. And we're going to give you a tight little twisteroo. Okay. I doubt we're going to be able to see these pipe cleaners, but just in case, I'm going to bend it down so that it's like really small. Just like that, so you can't even see it. Okay. So we've got the end piece over here tied down and secure. And now we've got our new end piece side by side. They're right there. We will, in the end, go to the back and make sure everything's cleaned up and that nothing can be seen from the front, but I don't think there's going to be much cleanup needed. So since we've got enough room in this section to do one more set of loops, that's exactly what we're going to do. And we'll start at the bottom this time because I'm starting wherever I want here, basically. So we'll start at the bottom. I'm just going to push these over and we're going to go ahead and tuck between rows 3 and 4. It's super big. I'm going to pull it this way. Okay. That's good. 3 and 4. And then we're going to go between 2 and 3. Same deal. Tuck it through from the back and pull it forward from the front. That's good. Now this bubble's way too big, so I'm going to pull from here to take some of that volume away. Is that good? Maybe a little more. Okay. And now we're going to pull from, oh, you're stuck here now. What the heck? Okay, we're going to pull down from there a little so you can be under control because you got a little rowdy. And we're going to do the last loop between row 1 and 2. I'm going to tuck through from the back. And this is going to complete this section now. We should be full enough that we're not going to do any more here. That looks great. Beautiful. Lots of volume. Okay, so we're going to skip over this crossbar now, and I'm going to twist the top and hold that knot in place, and then we're going to go top to bottom again. So let's do that. We're going to give this a twist. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to hold that twist with my finger so that it stays out of my hair. Where did I say I was before? At the top or the bottom? I think at the top. So we're going to start at the top. All right, are you in place? Mates. Here we go. So we're going to go between rows 1 and 2. Like that. Pull that loop forward. Or up, rather. Okay. Then we're going to go between 2 and 3. And bring it up to the same height. And same between 3 and 4. And again, bringing that up to the same height. This is a little too big. Hold on. Let me pull you. You've got a little big, pal. Pull you. That's good. And pull you. There. Now, they are the same height. And we're going to go ahead and give them a scrunch into the... Oh, you fell. Stay where you are. We're going to scrunch them into the corner like that and hold it in place with my hand. And then underneath, we're going to give this a twist. I'm going to hold that twist in place with my finger, and we are going to start going in the opposite direction now. So we're going to tuck through bottom. So that's 3 and 4. Very good. And then we're going to tuck through 2 and 3. Good. That is the same size as that. And then last, we're going to go through 1 and 2. And just tuck that through. And we're going to give this a squish. So I think we're going to be able to fit maybe 1 more in here, possibly 2. We'll see. So we stopped at the top. We're going to twist, and we're going to start at the top again, holding on to that twist so it stays in place. I'm going to tuck this through rows 1 and 2. and then through rows 2 and 3. Get very close. And then 3 and 4. And they're roughly the same. Beautiful. And now we scrunch them up. Yeah, we have room for one more. And we ended where? At the top or the bottom? I think we ended at the bottom. Okay. So we're going to do another twist. Okay. I'm going to hold on to that twist so it doesn't come through. And we are going to take and go through 3 and 4. Bring that loop forward. It's a bit too big. This one's stuck. There you go. You okay? You're all right. Now we're going to go through rows 2 and 3. And we'll tuck that through. That's better. Okay, they're about the same size. And now we're going to go between 1 and 2. And tuck that in and pull it through. Beautiful. And that fills in that section nicely. Actually, you guys are all a little bigger than you should be. So let me make you a little smaller. There. Beautiful. So we're on the last section now. We're going to fill in this section. You can see that it's progressed. We've got a smaller ruffle here. We've got a little bit out of control over here, and it's starting to settle down again over here. So definitely a learning curve going on over here. But I feel like I have a bit more of a system going. I don't know that this is right, though. I'm definitely going to look into this a little bit more. Maybe watch some videos of other creators who do this and see if I'm missing some tips and tricks that I can use. But we've got a system going and it's working out pretty well. So let's see. So do I have more room here? No, I'm going to start this section and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to tuck between 1 and 2. I think that's a good size. Okay. Then we're going to go between 2 and 3. Good. And then between 3 and 4. Just like that. We'll make sure that these are all about the same. And now we're going to give that a scrunch. Put that in place. And we'll give you a quick twist. And we're going to hold that twist in place. And then we're going to start from between 3 and 4 this time. get like 3 or 4 of these bubbles that happen per section. I wasn't actually counting. I've been more focused on figuring out a system to make this faster and more fluid and just easier to remember how to do it. I'm still not convinced that I've got that twist in the back right. There's got to be something related to it that I'm not really fully grasping. So I'm going to have to look into it a bit, but it's working out. We got ourselves a pretty base going on. So I'm not complaining because that looks great. So whatever, even if it's not perfectly done the way or the right method is, we'll learn. It'll be fine. Okay. So I gave it a twist on the back. And now we're going to start at the top again because that's where we ended. I'm going to hold on to that twist so it doesn't come through by accident. And we'll start at the top and tuck through between 1 and 2. Now I'm getting to the end here. So that one we tied at the beginning is starting to interfere. So I'm just going to keep my patience about me and focus because this happens at the end of every wreath, especially a wreath that is a very full wreath like this one. You're going to get to a point where there's just not a lot of real estate left and you're going to be fighting that space. So a little patience will go a long way. Okay, now we're going to tuck between 2 and 3. That. Okay. They're roughly the same size. And then we're going to go between 3 and 4. And we've got very similar heights for these loops. So we're good. I'm going to go ahead and push to the side. Give that a good scrunch. Okay, and we'll twist at the bottom here. I don't want to lose my loop. Okay. I'm going to try to take these ends out of the way. So I'm thinking we might be able to get 1, possibly 2 more loops in here. So we'll start with 1 and see how it goes. We're going to assume that this is going to be our last set of loops, but we may end up pushing in a few more. We'll see. So we're starting at the bottom again. So I'm going to tuck through 3 and 4. Okay, 3 and 4. Then we're going to tuck through 2 and 3. So now you can see that the ends of the beginning of our wreath are getting in the way right now. So I'm slowly pushing them out of the way so that the ruffle will be seen and not the ends, because those are going to stay under. They're just in the way now because of the way I'm doing this. Okay, you. I need more of you. That's good. Okay. So now we've got 1 more loop that's going to go between 1 and 2. Tuck that under. Get out of here, Pally. It's not your turn to shine. And we're going to go ahead and tuck this in between 1 and 2. Good. So now we've got our 3 loops here. It looks too empty to me, so we're going to do 1 more and try to fill in this gap, which would be perfect, I think. Why are you sticking out so much? Where are you coming from? Okay, so 1 last one. So we're going to twist at the top again. And then I'm going to start tucking through. I'm going to keep an eye on this tail. It needs to stay off to the side and out of my way. I'm going to hold on to that twist so it doesn't go anywhere, and then go ahead and start tucking through row 1 and 2. Oh, man, that tail is just going to be in my hair, huh? Okay. I'll work around you, bro. Okay, there. There we go. Now we got the full loop. There. That's row 1 and 2. Now we're going to go between rows 2 and 3. Continuing to keep an eye on the ends from the front of our wreath. So I'm still pulling them under and away so that you're not seeing these jagged ends sticking out. You're just seeing nice looping bubbles. That's good. And then one last loop is going to go between 3 and 4. Beautiful. And just like that, we finished our base. Not bad. Not bad. Now I'm going to tie this down. How am I going to tie this down is a better question. I'm thinking I'm going to just kind of tie it to this outer ring over here. Because how else could I tie it? I think that's all we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right around here just for my convenience, and then I can cut it down more later. Like a savage, I'm going to cut it in case you're wondering. Like a drunk savage. So let's see how much is left. Quite a lot. Now I have one more full roll sitting over here so we can look at the difference between. So we used one full roll, then I started a second roll, and that's what's left from it. So that's about half, I guess, maybe a little bit less than half. So we used about 1.5 roughly, maybe 1 3/4. Okay, so I've got one more pipe cleaner over here that I'm going to use to secure down this burlap. I think what I'm going to do is give it a twist over here. And then I'm just going to tie it right to this outer ring here, because why not? And maybe I can tie it to you too. Do I want to tie it to you? Nah. I'm going to also go under that crossbar though. Since I'm here, I might as well. So we're going to go. I know you probably can't see this, but I'm just trying to get it so that we're on this corner over here. And we've got our burlap, and I'm going to tuck it into the pipe cleaner and give it a couple of good twists so it stays in place. Okay, so I'm going to trim this down a little bit. This is the ends of the start of our roll and also now the ends of the end of our roll. We can get pretty low down. That's good. I'll tuck those in. Now, it's obvious to me that I've done something not quite right, because the bottom of this wreath is really poofy, which I really don't think it's supposed to be. I think that I've kind of got the idea, but I'm not quite right. So let's see. We're going to flip this over and we're going to have a look at how this base wreath turned out. So this is the back, which is why I'm thinking it's weird. It looks a little too poofy for a back, but this is the front. And this came out great. I'm really happy with this. Now, you've got a couple of rogue waves over here that we can fix by pulling down. I mean, for a first try at this method, I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. It's nice and full of body. We've got some great ruffles. Now, in terms of things to fix in the future, or what I'm going to work on going forward if I do this style again, which I will. It'll be nice to get better at it. First of all, it looks a little warped because you can see that some are a little bit more poofy and some are a little bit more concise. So that tells me that I got to work on how far I'm pulling my loops through and making them even. But for today, I'm okay with this. I can adjust this and make it look normal. It's fine. But definitely something to work on going forward. But the volume is gorgeous. And I really love the look of this wavy, bubbly base. It's really, really pretty. So I'm happy with this. For a first try, I consider this a 10 out of 10, personally. Okay, so we've got all of our components ready to put together. So let me have a quick sip of water, and we're going to put it all together right now. Oh, shoot. You know what I didn't do? I did not put the glue on top of these. So today we are going to break our rule. Actually, I don't have to break the rule. I think I can start setting everything else up afterwards. Let me see. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so pretty? Okay, I'm not going to worry myself about putting glue over top of these. I really don't think it's going to be needed. I normally would do it, but I don't want to have to wait for it to dry. It's totally unnecessary. So let's go ahead and secure our sign to our wreath, and then we can start filling in and putting a few seashells and stuff around and decide if we're going to use our messy bow or not that we made earlier. So the first thing we're going to do is bend our pipe cleaners up around that bit of glue that we have holding it down. I have some glue spider webs over here. Okay, so up like that. And then we are going to determine, because this is a bit warped, I need to make sure that I have it as even as possible. And I can say that we've got our two poofy sides here and our two like more condensed sides over here. So I consider that pretty even. So I'm going to leave that as it is. And we're going to put our wreath sign right here in the center. So put these all facing down. I'm going to have them sitting right in the center of the loop of our wreath. And we're going to go ahead and flip this over. Now, all we want to do is get one of the pipe cleaners sides through the inner ring of the wreath base, just like this. You see how I've threaded it through? And we're just going to give it a quick twist. Nothing major, because we might want to adjust where the sign is positioned. So we're going to keep our sign movable until we're right up until the end, when we're sure we're done. And then we can go ahead and secure this better. But a couple of good twists will do very well. So tuck through. And you too. Okay. That's great. That is great. Doesn't that look beautiful? Oh man, that came out so pretty. Okay, so we got to decide if we're going to use a bow or not. I kind of like the bow actually, but where? I don't want to cover the sun. That's kind of pretty. Do we like that? Well, I don't want it sideways. I feel like that's going to make it look stupid. I think at an angle it looks cute. Here it's over the sun, so I don't like it. We could do it right at the top, but we're still kind of covering the sun a little bit. Which, had I thought of it, I might have put the sun a little lower in the sky. But, you know, what are you going to do? Or we do it at the very bottom, because it's only going to cover the sand. Okay, I'm between right here at the bottom and over here on the side. It kind of makes me think of like a hair bow. I kind of feel like I like it over on the side, and it's a little unexpected over here as opposed to here where it is pretty expected. You know what? We're going to keep moving it around until I'm sure. I think the next thing we're going to need to do is figure out seashells. I think that'll help. Now, I have a whole bunch of different bags and bottles of seashells that I've collected over the years. Both of these are from Dollarama. They were $1.75 each, and they are very vibrant colors, which is why I brought them out, because I thought that might be cool. So just a few of those. And there's some pearls in here, but I'm not using these big pearls. I have some white pearls that I brought out as well, just in case. I'm not going to use more than a handful anyway, but it's nice to have options. How's my... Oh, we're running low on battery. It is okay. I have a backup. That's right. Always be prepared. All right, then I've got these little white shells that are kind of almost the same as these, but white. I'm not sure if I want to open this package yet because I've got this one that has also from Dollarama. This was $2 and this was $2. And this one I got recently, actually. How do you open this? Is there something fancy I don't know about? Yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just cut it. I'm just going to chop you off. And there, I solved the riddle. And it has like another little inner bag in here. Oh, that's good. Watch your hand. Why did they have to put the smallest zip tie in the world over here? Look at this. Look at how small this thing is. Like, I didn't even know they made zip ties that tiny. Okay, we got some beauties here. Let's see. Look at this guy. Holy. Surprised the snail didn't pop out of there. That is a huge one. I like these like hurricane styled ones. Oh, this one's really pretty. Look at that. Very green. There's two of them. Okay, so this monster has a little friend. What's this thing? Oh. Wow, these are really cool seashells. Dollar store. Hey. All right, we've got a variety now. What are you? Same. You guys, 3 of you. Well, if I'm going to pick one of these, it'll be one of the smaller ones, I think. So we'll leave you 2 out. All right. Do a couple of these. All right, I'm going to move this out of here. And now we're going to scatter. We're going to scatter all these, I think, and see what we want to attach and what we don't. I'm thinking it's going to be just like lay them out wherever and then move them around if you're not loving the vibe you're getting. What's another one? We can do a big one over there. No, I think that's it, really. I don't have any big pink ones. Okay. Well, in that case, then we're going to adjust you a little bit. Yeah, but I have 2 of each of these. Am I going to put 2 of these on here? That feels like that's a bit much. I think 3 big ones will do. And then we'll do like some of these guys because they're so cool. Get dark one. And then we can do just some shells around. Should we start these bright ones now? I'm not sure if I'm going to do any bright ones because really the painting is supposed to kind of be like the main show. But And so we don't need to take the color away from it if we don't want to. We'll see. Okay, let's do a few colored ones and see what we think. So we already have a green over here to kind of counter each other. Oh, you can't even see that one. See, that's how full this wreath is, that it's like going off the sides of my screen. Yeah, I like the pink and green in here. I think it gives it something extra. Like, I'm going to adjust these all as I glue them on, but like, you know, they're cute. I like it. So do we like the bow down here? Or do I do this, which was the initial plan? What do you think? Oh, I got to decide on this bow. And it's always this. I feel like I have this argument with myself all the time about where something should be positioned. And I think I really like it in the corner. Okay, let's see down here. If there's anybody in the chat, I'd love to hear what you think. See, because the bowl on the bottom looks good too. It's just like a really traditional place to have it. Whereas, oh, I can't make a decision. Okay. Let it simmer for a second. And we're going to do one more thing that I think would look really cute. I want to try to make some little jute bows, which is something I've never done before. Hold on. I need to look at this one more time. So, corner. Oh, man. I don't know what to do. Bottom or corner? I think this is different. You know, this kind of gives it like a different vibe. And this is a pretty traditional place that you would put a bow on any wreath. On the bottom or on the very top. We don't want to put it on the top because it's going to cover the sun. I feel like I might leave it on the bottom, but I do like it on the side like that too. If you're out there in the chat, I'd love to hear what you think so you can help me decide, because I cannot decide. So we're going to pause on it. I'm going to think on it. I really do like it on the side though. I'm going to do this for this is a problem. This is something I really struggle with when I have a live stream, because I try not to make you guys watch me go through that. Okay, how am I going to make this bow? What can I tie you to? Because I am not good at making, like, well, then how am I going to take it out? Let's see. Let's see if I can come up with a way to make a cute little bow. Yeah, that could work. And you do a loop, and you tie it, and then you do another loop through that one, and then you pull. These are really big loops. Make them smaller. This is a really ugly bow. That did not go very well. I don't like the knot on the back. I'm going to give up in 2.2 seconds. There's only so much patience a girl can have, guys. to make like little bows that kind of hang off. I don't even know if you'd see it. Let's see. I'm going to cut the string so that they're not this long. Okay, then cut it so you can see what it looks like. This bow, this string on the back is where, or this tie on the back is where I'm losing my mojo on it. I mean, that is kind of cute. Like kind of put them in different places. I just have to get the hang of making them a little bit more. Okay, let's make a couple of these and see how we do. What is an easy way? I always kind of think of it like the way I used to like do my shoelaces, you know? Where you just kind of make a loop and tie it around your thumb and there you got a bow, just like that. That's cute. I just want my loops to be the same size. You seem bigger. Okay. Okay. They're kind of cute, right? Little baby bows. I think I'll make like 4 or 5 of them and we'll scatter them around and then start gluing all of the... My gosh, that's hot. Oh my God, I did not expect that. I cut this too short. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. There's a reason why I was cutting them a little bit longer. It's easier to do the loop around my finger when it's longer. Wow, this is totally poorly proportioned. Well, worked out very well, actually. There's 3. Jute cord. I bought this jute cord, I want to say probably 3 or 4 years ago. It's been a long time and I have used it for so many projects. And it's so easy to find. They have so many at the dollar store, different sizes, different thicknesses, probably different brands, but I don't pay attention because I don't really care about the brand of jute cord. Like, get out of here. Okay, I think I got the hang of this now. Eat. Okay, cute. Cute, cute, cute. We've got 4. You're a little too long. Oh, I'm flying. We got 4. Should we do 6? And scatter them around? I'm struggling with you. Why? There we go. All right. As you can tell, this is taking a lot of concentration because my mouth is zipped. Well, because I want to get these loops the right size. I don't want them to be big and over, you know, floopy. We don't want the floopies. Oh, you are so not proportional. Okay, we got 1 more to do, and then it's gluing time. And we're going to have to finally decide where to put that bow. Well, I want to thank all of you who have come to the live stream today for being here, first of all. And secondly, for not helping me at all. You guys suck. Not one of you has told me in the chat if I should put the bow on the side or at the bottom. Help me. What is happening? I thought we were a team. So I'm going to just have to make a decision all by my lonesome. So guilt didn't work either, eh? No. Still crickets from the chat. Okay. Cool, guys. Come ask me a question sometime and see what's going to happen. Well, I'll answer it because I'm an idiot. Okay. I like you. You're cute. You're a cutie. Okay, that's the last one. We got 6. Okay, it's time. Okay, I don't need any of you guys because we've already decided on shells. So scoot, please. Thank you. Bows. Okay, decision. Side, bottom. All right, I'm sticking with the side. I like it. I don't care if it's traditional or not. That's why it keeps coming back to me because I like it. So I'm going to stick with it. So we're going to put one more big one down here, I think. Yeah, I'm liking that. So I think the first thing we're going to do is glue down this bow in the first place. Now I'm going to actually cut these pipe cleaners out of here because I don't need them. I'm not using them to tie them on. As you can see why I didn't want to tie it on now. We're going to go ahead and put that just to this corner. No, I want it more like here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue right on that center point. And we're going to place it exactly in the spot it's supposed to be, which is right there. I want it to come over a little bit, but not a lot. Once that's glued down really well, we'll go ahead and stretch out all of the little pieces as well a little bit more. But overall, I'd say that's good to go. So I'm going to start gluing down. Let's scatter you guys. So cute. Yeah, this was a good call, these little bows. They're really cute. Now, at the moment, everything's kind of resting on top, but I will put a couple of things around the edges as well. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I actually need the 6th one. Okay. All right. I'm going to start by gluing right down at the center down here, and then I'm going to make my way around. That's probably the easiest bet. This is something I always recommend when you are making a wreath is to lay everything out first so that you can get a good sense of how you want to place things. And then you're literally just going to pick them up and drop them into place as you go. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to have a quick sip of water and we're going to get to gluing. Okay. And then we have one last step, which is just tying a string on here so that we can hang it. I'm really excited to put this on my front door. Now, these seashells are going to be a little bit of a challenge. They're porous, they're real. So a little bit of patience is in order. I like these really vivid ones. I'm probably going to scatter a few around the edges as well. Should I do this down here? Well, I'm not going this way. I'm going to go this way. So you're starting as number 1. I'm going to put a bow right there. Yeah, that's cute. So a little drop on the knot of the bow. What's really cute about it is that it's the same material, right? It's the jute. So it blends right in. But then when you see it up close, you can totally see the little bow, which is really, really cute. I like that a lot. I'm probably going to do this again. I don't know why I never thought about it in the future, but, or I mean in the past, but when I thought of it with this project, I was like, oh, that's going to be fun. Okay, this is going to be a challenge because there's very little like to glue on. So we're going to try our best. This guy got tucked in. I want to decide how I want to position them because I don't want them all positioned in the same way because that one's that way. That one's that way. Should we do it like this? Oh, don't fall, bro. Like around. These are so cool. I think I'm going to put it this way. Nice. So I'm not going to hold on to them for very long. You can see that they do adhere pretty quickly. And I mean, we're not using a lot of, oh, these are two pink ones that are really close together. Shall we swap you? Like this? Yeah, that's better. Just a little bit. Oh, Mary. Watch your fingers, girlfriends. That is a good way to end up with a burn. Not the kind of burn I like. You know what I mean? The kind of burn I like is when I put you in your place. Those are my favorite burns. These, not so much. They mostly just hurt. Maybe right here. That's cute. I'll put that right there. Just a tiny little nub of glue. And I got a white shell here. That's a perfect spot for it. That big spiral one is so cool. So we're going to go ahead. I don't want this pink one too close, but it's actually not taking away from it in any way, so it doesn't really matter. We've got one bow here, so I'll put the other bow over here, I think. Let's go ahead and glue you down because you're so cool. What a cool shell. That spiral is just so gorge. Okay, we'll do a little bow on the side over here. Cutie, cutie, cutie little bow. I actually wish I had put that over here instead of here, right there, just so it would be a little bit further from there. But I didn't notice it until it was too late, so we got to get over it. Meow. I like where you're positioned. So you're going to go first. So you can see I'm only putting a tiny bit around the edges of the seashell there, and it's holding on really, really well. Like they're not going anywhere, these guys. So you don't need to worry yourself too much. I think I still want that pink one there. Just a little bit across the top, a little bit across the bottom, and into position. So this one I'm going to put here now. Yeah. So we've got all of this glued down. That's good. Oh, well, dude, I'm sorry. I was too fast. Where did you come from? Where did you come from? I said. I'll stick that in there for now. We'll figure out where to put it. Okay. I would say, do I want to leave that there? Yeah, I think that's good there. Yeah, right? I don't want to put another, I don't want one of those. No pink, no green. Well, actually, maybe a green one. We didn't put a green one up here yet. And there's that and that, right? Okay, maybe a green one. Let's see. I've got this massive green one. I think that's a bit too much. Or we got these little guys. So let's see what our options are. Option one is this big one. Which, I mean, positives and negatives. Positive is that it kind of balances. Negative is that same. I'm not loving this here, so let's try not that. Yeah, I think that's better actually. And then I'll put this little bow right here at the top. You won't even notice it's there until you really look at it. I like that. So let's turn this upside down to do that real quick. You first. A little bit right on the bottom, a little bit right at the top. Try not to touch your fingers. Santa Maria, that burns. I did not touch my fingers. It was just the heat. Just the heat made me panic. Okay. And now you, little bow. Let's see if I can get your little legs down straight. That's cute. Although I'm noticing that you're not quite level with each other. Give you a little trimmeroo. Boop. Okay, and then this is going to go straight. I'm going to put it right on this little tip right there. Let's do that. A little drop. And we're going to place you right on top. Beep, 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 beep. That's straight. Super cute. I love how subtle it is. And we've got that pink shell in the corner over there. But I think I'm going to start going this way up. Oh. Careful, Mary. This way up. And then we can figure out what to do around the bow, probably near the end. So let's have a quick look here. I'm still happy with this. I like the green here. I like this guy. Yeah, that's working for me. Let's tuck you up a little bit. So let's do this real quick. A little bit over here, a little bit over there. And we'll put you sideways and down here a bit. That's good. This guy has a hole. Here, we have a solid one. Is that a little close? But this guy's here. Where are you going to go? You'll go here. I'll put you right up here. And then that's good. They're all kind of separated a bit. Okay. All right. Very cute. Very, very cute. Let's do this little bow. You know, I have to say I'm really surprised by these bows. I'm really loving them. I'm totally going to do this again in the future. I really don't know why I never thought to do it before, but it's such a cute idea because they're so subtle, but they're so cute. Because they blend in so well, but they're just these cute little cuties. Some cute little cuties. Over here or over here? Okay, wait, no, this is where we need to decide. Okay, hold on. We've got that, and this guy. So where are you going? Are you going to go here? Okay, and now you're going to stay here. No, because the whole point of that was to level each other out. So you should actually go here. And then you're going to go here. This way or this way. To make it go in different directions. Because we've got this going that way, that going that way. So maybe this should go this way. Or like that. No. Nah. I'm overthinking it a little bit. Let's just take this out for a second. I'll put you down here. So it'll be out of the way a bit. This can go right here. And I was going to put this guy over here, or maybe up here. I like that. Okay, so let's put this in place so I don't lose track of where you're supposed to go. Just a straight line of glue. It's going to stay because it's level. I already glued you down, so now you need to be glued. Which way? I have this going that way, so let's go up. Up like that. Okay. I love the markings on this one. It's super pretty. Seashells are just so gorgeous. Ow. I totally just touched my thumb. Ay. Chihuahua. I'm for sure going to get a burn now. Marron. I try to be so careful, and it just never ends up like that, does it? Okay, these guys are all in place. I think you're going to go right here. You're going to be a bit of a struggle. Let's go around the edge and a little bit over here. That's good. So I guess you got kicked out. Oh, I mean, I could put it down here. Like, I'll save you for another project. You're going to go over here, though. Okay. I think we are ready. Where should you go? Here or here? Pink. Yeah, that's a good spot for the pink. Watch your thumb. Mary, watch your thumb. I already burned it once today. Like, for real, look at it. Okay. Now this guy's going to go right about here, I think. And I'm going to put it in this direction. Now we've got this little bow that I think I'm going to tuck right here in the midst of all of this, because it'll get so lost in the shuffle that it'll be so cute. Because then when you see it, you'll be like, oh, what are you doing there, little pink, little bow? What are you doing? All right, we've got a couple more to tuck in here. Our bow is nicely in place now. What would we do? So there's a pink one over here. Okay, so we've got one last seashell to glue down. I actually think I might put one here. Tucked under there. So it's kind of like poking out. Nah, I think I like it better over here where I had it before. So I'm going to put it over here. So this is our last seashell. It's the last thing we're going to glue down. And then we have one last step, and we are ready to hang this showstopper of a wreath up on our door. And I am going to be doing that post haste. As soon as I'm done this live stream, I'm going to shake my butt up those stairs and hang this on my front door because I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. All right, so we've got all of our seashells in place. We've got our little jute bows in place. We glued down our bow. Our wreath is in, like our sign is in place. I don't feel the need to move it and change it in any way. So the last thing we're going to do is just prepare something to help us hang this on our front door. Now, there's always a billion ways that you can hang something, but my favorite is always using jute cord and a slip knot. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I have yet to look up if my terminology for slip knot is correct. I'm sure it's not. So this is what I call a slip knot. You're going to take a piece of jute cord and we're going to put it end to end just like that. And that's going to create this loop. Then I'm going to use my index finger and we're going to wrap it around the index finger like that. And then slide the loop that we've made off of my finger. And then I'm going to tuck those ends under and through the loop. And then we're going to slide that knot, which is why I called it a slip knot, but I don't think that is a slip knot. Okay, and now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and flip our wreath over gently. And I'm going to hook this through. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to slide this knot portion underneath my wreath ring. On that final loop, number 4, so now you can see I've got the loop on the bottom and the knot on the top. And I'm going to take that knot and I'm going to thread it through the loop. Like that. And slide. And now it is in place. And this can move. This knot, this hanger can move from side to side, which is what I really love about it because it helps you have a little bit of flexibility when adjusting your actual wreath. Now, I am happy with my sign placement. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up by cutting down these, what are these things called? Pipe cleaners. Because I don't need to change my position of my sign. I'll give them a couple more twists just because I have a bit of a twist issue. But 2 or 3 twists is more than enough. Okay, so are you ready for the final reveal of our beach-themed wreath? Here we go. Beep, 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 beep. Man, oh man, didn't that come out great. I am super thrilled. What a gorgeous wreath. It came out so big and voluptuous. And we used so many materials from the local dollar store. So let's talk through this really quickly. And if you hung out with me this long, thank you. I hope you enjoyed making this with me. And we're going to do a quick summary, and then I will set you free until the next project comes our way. So we started today with a 14-inch wire wreath frame and a whole bunch of jute, this gorgeous jute jumbo burlap garland. Well, they call it jumbo burlap ribbon. I call this jute garland. It doesn't really matter. That is burlap. We use that to do this bubble method, which I've never done before. I feel like it came out really, really beautiful. I got a gorgeous base wreath with lots of volume. I definitely have room for improvement the next time I do it. And I'm going to try to figure out how to make the back a little less messy. But overall, I'm super thrilled. We got a lot of great volume, gorgeous ruffles and stuff. And then we made this super cute, messy bow. And it's so easy to make. You can just grab any random leftover ribbon that you have in your craft room, cut them to size, maybe give them a little dovetail end if you like that the way I do, and then bundle them together with a pipe cleaner and wrap something over the middle. And you got yourself a beautiful, messy, super simple bow. And I love that we positioned it on the corner. I really was debating, but I'm pleased with the fact that I decided to go there. And the last 2 pieces that we did here are these little teeny tiny jute bows made out of the jute string that we're using to hang the wreath with. And lastly, of course, these gorgeous seashells that I got from Dollarama. The dollar store has definitely upped their game in the last couple of years. I mean, these are real, and they're real. They're real seashells. They're beautiful. I love it. And last but not least, let's talk a little bit about this beautiful dot painted beach sign. This is a seascape that we did together at a dot along earlier this week. You can check out that video on my channel. It's also in the description below, and I'll probably add it to the comment that I'm going to pin to this video when I have a few minutes. This is a super beginner friendly project. If you've never dot painted before, this might be the one that you want to try. It's a lot of fun. And as you can see, we turned our dot painting project into a gorgeous show-stopping beach-themed wreath. I'm super pleased with the way this turned out. I hope you enjoyed making this with me today. And this is our finale of the Sweet Summer series. Next time I'm going to see you, which is next Saturday, August the 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to kick off the Fabulous Fall series. And I'm going to be making a big pumpkin wreath, which I have never used a pumpkin wreath form before. So we're going to navigate that together for the first time next week as well. So this week on Thursday, no live stream. I won't be doing a candle making live stream this week. I'm taking the week off in between these two series, which I try to do to keep myself from getting burnt out. And I will see you next Saturday where we're going to make a fabulous fall wreath. And if you're interested in learning more about beginner-friendly wreaths, check out my channel. I have a ton of videos like these ones. I've been doing live streams now for almost a year, so I have so many different wreaths that you can learn every single step. You can talk to me throughout the entire process and hear me debate about things and figure things out and troubleshoot. And you can see every single step in all of the replays that are available, but they can take a couple of hours. So if you're looking for some creativity and you don't have a lot of time, I also have a bunch of videos that are 5, 10, 15 minutes in length that I made a few years ago that are on my website. They're all different seasons, and I'm definitely going through every single season with you. So check out my channel. There's tons of beginner-friendly projects. And consider telling a friend. It really does help me out when you share my stuff with people. And when you hit that like button, it really does help as well. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!